out of gear because it's rolling, or he's got the clutch in. Gear linkages are a funny thing, Dave. It's still very mechanical. It's a very simple system when it goes to changing gears in one of these transmissions. If something in the linkage is too tight or too loose, you can wind up getting jammed between two gears.
Yeah, and sometimes they just don't mesh properly as well. These transmissions that they run in the NASCAR Canada Series don't require a clutch for every shift. You use the clutch to start from a dead stop, and then once you're moving, you can essentially just jam it into gear, whether you're going up or going down. You don't necessarily need the clutch like you would have maybe 10, 15 years ago.
So this is good fortune for Dave Corsall, because we're coming for one to go. So they've got a full lap to try to diagnose and repair this car.
But on a road course, it's not the same as an oval. In an oval track, you can crawl underneath it. You can push that linkage into a gear of your choice. Say you need third or fourth gear, and then just hope it hangs on. You need all of the gears here at Calabogie Motorsports Park as you navigate these 13 turns.
Here comes Corsall into his pit stall.
So we'll see with what... Not a lot of quick movement from the crew as they set the jack down, and it looks like this is not going to be a quick and easy fix.
No, it doesn't seem that way, as the jack stands are in place, 4 jack stands to get that car up in the air. What disappointment to be here for 3 days, all weekend long, just waiting for the opportunity, let's face it, to go out and play.
Same thing happened to Kevin Lacroix last year, as a matter of fact, on the warm-up lap. Coming to green, that's when the 74 lost power, and we're immediately under caution. So this time it happens to Dave Corsall in the lead-up to green.
I thought they were taking off the left rear tire, but they're doing something at the left rear.
Maybe it's the rear end. Maybe it's not the transmission after all.
So none of these laps have counted just yet because they never threw a green flag. So we've still got the full race ahead of us.
And important to note that the choose rule is not in effect for this start because, again, you go back to your original starting order minus the 54 of Dave Corsall.
So again, the crew working around the 54 car of Corsall. Corsall is still strapped in, all of his gear on.
The window net's still up. So they'll work to get that car back out on track. He may lose a few laps in the process, but again, he comes into this one 12th in owner's points, so it is important to get him back out on this racing surface and collect those all-important owner's points. And Clinton's got an update on the 54. Clinton?
Guys, down here on pit road, the situation is we originally called it a transmission, but you guys are talking about they have removed both rear axles from the car, which leads us to believe it's going to be a rear end problem. But Dave is unstrapping from the car, and this may be the end of his day already.
So it could be a broken axles. There's rear axles that come out of the rear end of the car that drive the rear tires. That's what propels it forward. If one of those break, you're only driving one of the rear tires, so the car is undrivable. Of course, if the rear end itself, the rear end gear breaks, the car is just plain undrivable, period.
It's just a no bueno scenario for the 54 team, as they'll try see what they can get done in a short period of time, but the NAPA pace car is headed down pit lane. So finally, after a bit of a false start, we're going to do it for real this time. Marc-Antoine Cameron and the 80 of Alex Tagliani.
You know who has had a lot of track time this weekend is Alex Tagliani.
Yeah.
Running in the FEL series, those Radical Cup cars. He's competed in 2 full events. Lots of laps out there. I don't know if that's any help because those cars couldn't be any more different than these are. But the NAPA 150 is going to get underway eventually. Cameron crawling up through the restart zone as Bruce Fassett drops the flag and we are underway.
Listen to that roar into turn number 1 as Cameron is going to lead them through the first set of corners. Tagliani will slot into second with Kevin Lacroix holding down third.
Little bit of dust as someone went off the inside of the racetrack. Just cut a bit of a corner off there.
Drivers get greedy all the time, and they'll play in the grass at times over the course of this afternoon. Almost everybody single file except for DJ Kennington battling with the 9 of Matthew Kingsbury. That's for 6th and 7th on the track.
Kingsbury tucks in line out in front. Cameron continues the way to lead the way over Tagliani and Kevin Lacroix. Connor Bell seems to have settled himself into line there deep in the top 10.
Top 4 really opening up a gap now over the 47 of LP Dumoulin. And what's interesting story about the WeatherTech Dodge is LP Dumoulin was one of the drivers who started last year's race deep in the field. He started in 13th. He finished in 3rd. So he's a driver who understands how to pass here, how to make moves and work his way up through the field.
So the top 4 have pulled away just a little bit. Cameron, Tagliani, Lacroix, and Ranger are all in the same vicinity out there. Oh, we got one off the racetrack. That's Simon Charbonneau, I believe.
No, that's Johnson.
I'm sorry.
That is Jeff Johnson in the 14, one of the local drivers here from the Ottawa area, and that is turn number 1. He got almost stopped before getting into the tire wall, but did make contact with the tires.
Sorry, Dave, they very quickly went to a full course yellow, so officials must have seen something we did not. Whether he went off there with a big head of steam.
It is a dangerous place to be parked. And he just caught the grass on the outside, so he missed the apex going into turn number 1. And the Johnson Forest number 14 Mustang noses into the Continental Barrier in the tire wall, and he can't refire. Now he does, so we'll get to see damage, if there is any.
I think he managed to get that car mostly slowed down. What a break that is. Even the pace car waited for him. Mike Henning pulls out in that Napa pace car, and he waits for the field. So Jeff Johnson is still on the lead lap.
So he'll work to get caught up to the tail of the field. Still Marc-Antoine Cameron, Tagliani, Kevin Lacroix, Andrew Ranger, and LP Dumoulin. Your top 5 at the front of the field. And doesn't appear to be too much damage to the 14. So he might have got lucky in this one.
I'm thinking he might have.
So while he does do a little catching up to the field, we get the field realigned. We're going to take a quick step back. You are listening and watching the NASCAR Canada Series. So Jeff Johnson damage to the left front corner of that Ford Mustang, but it appears as though it is just body damage. It doesn't even look like it's pushing back on the tire as he navigates this circuit to try and get caught up to the tail end of the field, but he's going to head to pit lane and let the crew have a look at it, maybe pull that back. And that's important because we've seen at other races this year, DJ Kennington at Riverside got into a very minor shunt, bent a body brace, pushed the body back on the tire. It eventually cut down a tire and essentially ended his race.
And why not? You're at the back anyhow. Come in, let the crew do some work, whether they get out the bare bond, the duct tape, some bungee cords, or if they get out a saw and cut that piece of bumper out. It's really not a piece of bumper. It's decorative. And it looks almost like that's what they chose to do. Did they cut that section out?
I don't know if they cut it or they just ripped it. But it's gone, and now the question is, will that create a hole where other pieces of bodywork could potentially come off for the 14? So it'll be something that the NASCAR officials will be watching over the course of this race. But looks like bumper bar is still there. Man, it's just body damage.
It's going to keep that left front tire nice. Game.
And welcome back to race number 7 of the NASCAR Canada Series schedule, the NAPA 150 at Calabogie Motorsports Park. And we're still under caution. The 14 of Jeff Johnson has been down pit lane, removed a piece of bodywork off the nose of that Ford Mustang. But a story that's emerging from pit lane is the false start, or the missed opportunity to take that start. The cars had to circle for another couple laps. They were very tight on fuel, and that's making some teams pretty nervous.
So this yellow flag is a big benefit, because a yellow flag lap, whether it's 2 green flag laps, we don't know the formula exactly, but you use much less fuel on a caution lap than you do on a lap up to speed. So this will be a favor to these race teams. Also an opportunity for drivers to double up on this restart and try to steal a couple more spots, but there hasn't been a big change in the running order.
No, there hasn't been a lot of passing, especially at the front of the field, not yet anyway. But you look at Gary Clute is one driver who has made a few moves.
4 spots,
yeah,
from 18th to 14th. I mean, Connor Bell still running in the 9th spot. I would have thought he might, but they're very tough passes what's in front of them. But you really find that restarts are a good time to be aggressive.
It's when everybody's bunched up, and you can take advantage of maybe somebody misstepping, missing an apex, things like that, and you get to pounce on that opportunity. And we'll see if Gary Clute does maybe pick up another spot or 2. Definitely one of the drivers we're watching from deeper in the field. Another storyline, you heard Clinton talk about it, the 39 of Alex Gannett out in an untested engine after putting a brand new engine in the 39. Things appear to be swimming along just problem-free so far, sitting in 8th spot for the DLGL number 39.
We continue to circulate under the yellow flag. Kevin Lacroix, I talked about it a little bit earlier, but he got off track and into the tire barriers. On Friday's practice, the crew had a lot of work to do. You can see the scrapes up the side of the car. Doesn't seem to be hurting him at all.
No, he actually got caught in some oil. Brad Ranson is driving the number 28 in a great-looking car, by the way. The wrap on that car is fabulous looking, whether it's up close or far away. Have a good look at it as it goes by. Where you're at, Brad Ranson, is he broke some rear-end suspension. That's fine, except when that suspension punctures the oil tank, the dry sump as they call it, and that spills oil out over the racetrack. That was right in front of the 74 of Kevin Lacroix.
He's had such a peculiar season. He's visited victory lane 1 time, but we're not seeing the Kevin Lacroix that we saw in his early years in the series, where he expected to win. He'd come to the track and winning was all that was going to happen for him, and he would go to almost any length to do it. These days he's a much different driver, and I don't want to say it's more mature, but there is a change in the attitude of Kevin Lacroix here at the racetrack.
I'll tell you, one driver is not nervous about fuel anymore. That's the 48 of Ron Tomlinson. He did make a quick splash, and you saw fuel leaking out of the back. So they full as they possibly could. So it looks like the 48 of Tomlinson is good to go. Let's go down to Clinton.
I got Adam here. Adam, you know, you guys had a problem yesterday. You didn't go to a backup, repaired the car. How do you feel about it?
I think we're looking pretty good now. Everything seems nice and straight on the car. Just need to get some laps in here to make sure everything's okay, but I think we'll be all right.
Nothing's worrying you right now?
No, nothing. I think we're good with this yellow for the fuel, so I think we're okay now.
Well, guys, they're all smiles here in the Napa pit. They feel they've got it fixed.
Fixed 2 problems with 1 caution. They got a chance to sort of feel out the car for a couple of laps, and now they get their fuel mileage back with this caution, as you had mentioned. But yeah, you're right. Kevin Lacroix, not his dominant self as he was early in his NASCAR Canada Series career, but coming off a pair of podiums at Autodrome Montmagny in a couple of sprint oval races.
And I still think if push comes to shove, he will shove back. The chip is still on his shoulder. They don't usually disappear entirely.
No, he'll just say, well, that's racing. Give you that mischievous smile.
Yeah.
Here comes the choose, and no change at the front. Looks like everybody's going to slot into their spot where they were running on track. So if you're unfamiliar with the choose rule, although Jeff Lapsevich went to the inside when he could have potentially gone to the outside.
So did whoever was behind Lapsevich, which means the car behind them just picked up a lot of ground. I think that was Charbonneau in the 88.
Yeah, Charbonneau went in from 14th, and he'll pick up at least a few spots on the choose roll. If you're unfamiliar, it gives the option. Drivers can choose either the inside or the outside, potentially giving up spots or maybe gaining spots, but it puts the strategy back in the driver's hands when it comes to restarts. As the field moves through the Pinty's restart zone and the green flag waves once again, we're back underway.
Cameron again with a good launch at the restart zone. Alex Tagliani keeping his nose sort of poked to the left-hand side. Now he'll tuck in line, race leader Cameron.
The nose of the GM Paille number 96, Marc-Antoine Cameron, completely planted to the ground as he paces the field out in front. The 80 of Alex Tagliani, a little crooked on corner exit as he tries to get to the power, but not crooked enough for the 74 of Kevin Lacroix to take advantage.
Cameron is certainly not pulling away as we see a battle between Connor Bell and Alex Gannett, and right behind Bell is Simon Charbonneau. Good restart for him. Right behind him is Gary Klutz in the 71.
Into turn number 9, turn 10, potentially a passing opportunity as Tagliani took a quick peek, but he was playing more defense, and now he slides to the outside. So drivers choosing different lanes through.
Challenge for the lead. Tagliani to the inside on the final turn. Kevin Lacroix 3 wide for the lead.
Tagliani will have the outside into turn number 1. This may cost him second spot as the 74 is down low. They'll still go side by side. Now stretch out single file into turn 2.
Sorry, Dave, that got exciting. And we're hearing that it was Tagliani who led at the line. So a new race leader at the line.
Just by a nose, 27 1/100ths of a second was the lead at the line before Marc-Antoine Cameron was able to wrestle it back. And again, this is a track where you make your passes on corner exit rather than charging into the corner. You're setting things up differently, and that's what Tagliani was doing about 4 corners before he made that move for the lead.
Yeah, it's to hear drivers say it's very challenging to pass here. Remember last year at this race, coming off of that final turn, there was a big wreck coming to the line, a number of cars involved, but that's where Tagliani chose to make his move as Connor Bell to the inside of Matthew Kingsbury.
And it looks like Alex Gannett in the 39 is going to take away a spot from the 88 of Simon Charbonneau. Here's another look at this attempted pass for the lead. Look at Tagliani, a completely different line from the one the race leader is taking.
Completely different, like you say, but he sets him up through 12 to dive to the inside in 13, kind of a surprise move. Could there have been a bump from behind to open that up? That's really not Tagliani's style, but
there was definitely some contact with the 96 as they both tried to fill the same hole through turn number 13, but they maintained pace, able to stay straight. The 96 continues to lead and now opening up a bit of a gap at the front of the field. Just giving you an update on some of the drivers we noted earlier. Connor Bell now up to 8th position in the number 3, and Gary Klutz in 11th after starting 18th.
Tagliani having to walk, full course caution.
Oh, and it's Dominic Scrivo in the 69, to the tires. He has damaged both front and back of that Chevrolet Camaro. Oh, that's a big lick into the tire wall.
Those tire barriers really protect the frames of these cars a fair bit. It's a softer landing than the concrete, but they absolutely obliterate fiberglass.
I'm not sure if that's a soft landing of that one because it just appears to be crunched at both ends. Dominic Scrivo tried to put it in gear. Now he's going to go. He's going to leave a trail of fiberglass in his wake. The trunk lid is off. The back bumper is now laying on the track, but he's moving.
Yeah, yard sale. clear damage to the front. Now, it would not surprise me one bit to see Scrivo come in and pit and be able to resume this race, although you have to have that rear spoiler, don't you?
You do, so they'll have to scrounge up a deck lid from something in the trailer, but the Sierra Excavating crew is a good one. And the good folks at NBS Motorsports will try and patch that car back together. I'm not sure if that right front tire, you see the nose is all pushed over to the side. That right front tire is exposed, and I think that right front wheel took a lot of heat.
No, you could be right. I mean, you're probably not, but you could be right.
I don't know. It looks, if you're looking at the two front tires, it's like a...
It's very hard to tell the alignment of the front tires when half of the body is askew. So your reference points are off. But let's see what the crew does when Scrivo pulls in.
I got to say it's like a mortgage. One's fixed, the other one's variable at this point. The hood pin's difficult to get out. So that's the key thing they need to do, is to check the suspension on this 69. But the engine is off as Scrivo finds pit lane. The cleanup is really just fiberglass and making sure the tire wall is put back in place, so it shouldn't take too long.
No, and probably the hood will have to come off that 69 because it's buckled up so bad it'll affect his vision in right-hand turns especially.
So Dominic Scrivo, a former Jostens Rookie of the Year winner in the NASCAR Canada Series, is getting some work done, and it's, again, the engine is off, and these caution laps do count, so he will go some laps down. We'll take another quick break. You're watching the NAPA 150. So we continue under a full course caution, and this one, the second full course caution displayed already in this race, and we're only 9 laps in of a 50-lap distance, considering last year when you looked at things, we had 4 cautions for 11 laps throughout the entire 50-lap distance. Most of those cautions coming at the end.
Cautions do breed cautions, but I think these two are pretty unrelated.
I think for some of these drivers, some of them didn't get the opportunity to do the Friday test. So finding out things about this track, this new racing surface, maybe how their car performs, they did have to go a little bit gently in the beginning, maybe just trying to pick up the pace, and things happen.
A lot of this, too, is getting into your rhythm, finding where you're comfortable, how you want to approach the race, so take some laps to get into that groove. And I don't think that applies to the top 10 out there, but I think from 12th back through 28th, there might be a lot of that, just wanting to get into the rhythm that your car will allow you to drive and figure out how hard you can attack.
And welcome back to Calabogie Motorsports Park and the NAPA 150 as we continue under our second full course caution after Dominic Scrivo in the Bolton GM Chevrolet found the tire wall. He has made his way back to the pits, and debris has been tidied up off the track, so we shouldn't be too long before we go back to green. We'll take you through the top 5 as it sits right now. Marc-Antoine Cameron has led since the drop of the green. Alex Tagliani, Kevin Lacroix, Andrew Ranger, and LP Dumoulin, your top 5. DJ Kennington, Matthew Kingsbury, Connor Bell, Alex Gannett, and Simo Charbonneau round out the top 10. Biggest mover and shaker so far is the 71 of Gary Kloot, and that's not really a surprise, but Cautions do bring us the opportunity for some pit stops as well, as the 88 of Charbonneau comes down pit lane, as does the 8 of Dexter Stacey. So Charbonneau was in 10th, Dexter Stacey was in 12th.
Charbonneau started back in the 22nd spot.
And shaker. Just fuel for all drivers who stop down pit lane. So again, the nervousness about a waved off start originally, losing 2 laps of fuel, is going to be taken care of with this quick splash, letting the drivers and crews breathe a sigh of relief. JP Bergeron, the E-Racer #1, also down pit lane, as is Brad Ransom in the 28.
Cars all file into line under the yellow flag conditions. Again, Dave, we run this event here today at Calabogie. Next Saturday, we are back on track at Edmonton International Raceway, which is actually in Wetaskiwin, Alberta. And then we've got some road races going on. We've got the Markham Indy, GP3R, Circuit iCar, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, all within about a 5 or 6 week stretch.
Yeah, it's been very oval heavy at the start of the schedule in 2026, and then we get into road course heavy and street courses, as including the Ontario Honda dealers Markham Indy, which is a brand new facility. It hasn't even been built yet. Also, we've seen just pictures, and that's it.
Dave Corsall back on track in that 54, so a number of laps down, but an opportunity to pick up points depending who falls out of this race.
8 laps down. The leaders have only completed 10, so yeah, he's in quite a hole, but from this point on, if somebody drops out, he picks up positions. That's why it's important to get your car back out there.
Boy, Tagliani, I wonder how many times he could make that move in a race. I mean, ducking to the inside on turn 13, instantly creating some contact with Cameron. And there's certain moves you can't go to lap after lap. You know, they're kind of a surprise, but if you do them all the time, you lose the element of surprise.
Now, was he making a playbook for the end of the race as well? If he thinks he was going racing the 96 towards the start-finish line at the end of the race, was he saying, let me try and see what I can do through these final complex of corners if I need to drag race someone to the start?
These drivers are very cerebral. There's a lot of planning goes on, a lot of gamesmanship, as Dave Corsall back on pit road in his number 54.
See the field going through. You saw a quick look at the 0 of Jeff Lapsevich in 15th position. And Lapsevich actually making his return to the series. You've seen his sons win championships, Caden and Trayton. Jeff Lapsevich last raced in the series back in 2015. He ran 3 races that year. And in his final race, he finished 3rd. Bit of trivia question, who won that race? Jason Hathaway.
Wow.
Crew chief for Connor Bell.
What race was it?
It was Canadian Tire Motorsport Park.
No kidding, okay.
Yeah, Labor Day, the Labor Day sprints. So he ran 2 races at CTMP that year. The only other race was at Circuit iCar. And he finished top 10 in all of them.
Well, that's sort of what he did on road courses. He was always near the front.
Cool to see him back behind the wheel of the car normally campaigned by Glenn Stiers. So Jeff Lapsevich is normally the one who turns the wrenches, sets that car up. Glenn Stiers recovering from a shoulder injury, so hands the reins over to Jeff Lapsevich, who did some testing at Autodrome Chaudière earlier this year and actually was 4th quickest in that practice session.
Yeah, I don't think you lose the ability to do it. You lose a little bit of your edge, the chip on your shoulder, I think, goes away. Your ability to really get up on the edge and attack a race. But Jeff has 4 kids. That'll put a chip on anyone's shoulder.
It sure will. Sam Fellows is another driver who's moved up through this field nicely, starting back in the 25th position. The 87 currently being shown in 14th. So lots of drivers making moves deeper in the field.
The choose has been chosen.
And no real changes. Not a lot of them anyway. Again, some of them taking that inside lane, but it's really from about the 6th or 7th row back. So it will be Marc-Antoine Cameron and Alex Tagliani who will go side by side through the Pinty's restart zone and headed off to turn number 1 as the green flag waves once again.
Tagliani with a good start here on the outside of Cameron. Let's see as they exit turn number 1. Cameron was very slow to come across the track and take away the line of Tagliani.
Connor Bell way up on the outside, so one of the drivers to select the outside through turn number 1, and it looks like he's making it work in a battle with Matthew Kingsbury in the 9.
Battling for that 7th spot. I believe that's Gary Clute right behind him, so that would put Connor Bell into the 7th spot, Clute into the 9th spot for now. As we watch the battle at the front, Cameron with the lead, Tagliani and Lacroix right on his tail.
Flipping through the grass, many of them are, as they work through turn number 8 and 9 and headed towards turn number 10 as Clute closes up on the back of the 8 of Connor Bell. And Alex Gannett does the same thing on the 9 of Matthew Kingsbury. Kingsbury really just hogging those curves on the inside, hopping around that Duro King number 9.
Sam Fellows breaking up into the top 15 as he's making moves on the outside. In the top 10, everybody is single file as they work down into turn number 1.
Problems for Ron Tomlinson. The hood has been crumpled on that Ford Mustang of the 48, and he's going to have trouble to see. Down pit lane he goes, and the crew just jumps on the hood to flatten it down.
Now, I hear an engine revving, Dave, but it can't be Tomlinson's. He's at the far end. There must be another car near our end, as we had one off the pace there in turn 3.
Saw another car up on jack stands, but I believe that's a 69 Revo. As pretty much the entire field now strung out single file, all nose to tail. Still leading is the number 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron.
Alex Tagliani closing in like we saw a number of laps ago. Is he going to try to make a move? He's right on the back end of a race leader, Cameron.
So top 4. JP Bergeron, quick wave out the window as he goes around a little bit deeper in the field, battling with the 94 of Sylvain Ouellette. And we'll have another look at JP Bergeron. Ouellette really got loose, and those two got together just a little bit, and then they did it again in turn 13, just the other way.
Thank goodness JP Bergeron was there. I'm not sure Ouellette would have made it through that turn.
He needed somebody to lean on for a little bit of help to get through. Top 4 opening up a gap now on 5th place. LP Jubilee. Quickest car on the track is the 80 of Alex Tagliani in 2nd.
Trying to close that gap on the race leader as we look back.
Tomlinson has come out of the pits. He's got lots of tape on the hood of that Ford Mustang, but the problem is he's mixed in with some of the top 10. He's actually just in behind the 47 of LP Jubilee, and he's cost DJ Kennington 1, maybe 2 spots.
Yeah, oh, Connor Bell gets some help going down into turn 1 from Gary Clute in the 71. Both cars getting sideways.
Clute really wanted to make it through that corner on the inside. And they do. We stay green. And now Connor Bell is going to get up underneath the back of the 48 of Ron Tomlinson. Again, Tomlinson a lap down to the group that he's racing around. But he does have some pace, and he's got home track knowledge as well.
Well, enough knowledge to know that it's difficult to get out of the way and stay out of the way here. You can see he's leaving some room for Connor Bell, but at some point you've got to turn into the corners, right? You can leave that little bit of room in spots on the track where it's easy to do so, but then as it narrows up, it's a struggle as Tagliani battling for the lead once again.
Into turn number 10, he gets to the inside. The Saint-Hubert number 80 does nose into the lead. He's going to try and drag along the 74 of Kevin Lacroix, who won't take advantage. He'll slot back into third, but new race leader is the 80 of Alex Tagliani.
Kevin Lacroix is not done. He keeps on slipping out of the slipstream of Marc-Antoine Cameron to show that green nose of the 74. We've now got the entire top 5 nose to tail out there.
Didn't take long for the 74 or for the 47 of LP Dumoulin to catch up.
I believe Cameron's got a right front tire smoking. I believe there's damage on the right front of Cameron's number 96.
So far, just right-hand corner, so it's taking the pressure off. But let's take a look at this pass once again. Tagliani inside, and then swerves over to the inside in turn number 11 and parks it there through 11, 12, and then clears him into turn number 13.
I'm still looking for when there might have been contact, because I'm telling you there's a little bit of smoke out the right front of Cameron and some damage on that right front corner.
Well, here comes the 74 now. Kevin Lacroix in through past the 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron. So move the Carlisle Belts number 74 into second spot.
Are you shaking your head at me, Dave?
I haven't seen the smoke that you have seen, but I'm sure it's there. What I'm seeing is the 96 going backwards in a hurry, and that's something we have not seen in a very long time.
It's true, and he seems vulnerable to everybody in the same spot. It's in that entry into turn 10 where he seems to just be missing a little bit of giddy up that allows the competition to get a nose to the inside.
I see our Clinton Jeffrey is down in the 96 pit. You can see Robin McCluskey, the crew chief for Marc-Antoine Cameron, was talking to his driver, so potentially something amiss in that car because the 27 of Andrew Ranger is turning up the pressure now.
McCluskey looking down, whether it's at his laptop or a notebook or something, as Alex Tagliani out in front opens an advantage of 3 to 4 car lengths over Kevin Lacroix. Andrew Ranger right up on the rear deck lid of the 96.
Man. This is one of those stories that we talked about coming into this race. The 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron, yes, he had a comfortable points lead, 47 points up on the 74 of Kevin Lacroix, but with 28 cars in this field, you could not afford a bad day here.
No, you're absolutely right. As we look at Gary Clute and Alex Gannett, 2 cars we expected quite a bit out of. Clute runs in the 7th spot, Alex Gannett runs 8th.
Connor Bell up to the 6th position. If you're wondering where the hometown hero is running here at Calabogie Motorsports Park, the scene of his very first NASCAR Canada Series victory, and right now his only NASCAR Canada Series victory. But Gary Clute feels this place owes him just a little bit. He had a tire go down late in that race last year after qualifying on the pole. He led a bunch of laps and unfortunately couldn't seal the deal. He did earlier on at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, visiting Victory Lane. But the race at the front is not done. Kevin Lacroix has all of a sudden found some speed.
Lacroix closing in on the 80 of Tagliani as they work through 10, 11, 12. Whoa, big smoke.
Couple of cars off. Tomlinson is one of them, but it looks like he took evasive action. And more damage to the fiberglass on that Ford Mustang of Ron Tomlinson. I think that's just from bouncing around in the grass. Full course caution once again. There is a car that is stopped. It was smoking heavily, but we can't tell exactly which one. We'll have to wait and see how everything plays out when the field comes around. Oh, it's Simo Charbonneau.
Well,
and Matthew Kingsbury as well in the 9 is weaving back and forth, so he was also involved.
Charbonneau's car is peeled open like a can opener was taken to it. One of his front fenders peeled back, the hood up over the windshield. We are hearing reports of fluid on the racetrack.
So Kingsbury came into this one 7th in the point standings. And this is going to set him back. But the 88 Transgestion Chevrolet Camaro of Simon Charbonneau is very badly damaged. As a matter of fact, he pulled into pit lane and couldn't even see to find his pit stall, as the crew is now trying to get him situated so they can start work on that car.
The nice thing about this pit lane is the pit wall is on your left-hand side, so you can kind of look out the driver's window and gauge where you're at, but that is not good.
Yeah, so a lot of damage to that car. Let's head down pit lane and talk to Clinton.
Well, guys, you can see how bad the car is. You can't even see the rat. It's pushed right back. Tons of fluid coming out of it. And as you said, peeled right back. So they got issues here. I think this will be the end of the day for them for sure.
Yeah, so it looks like the crew is not sure what they're doing there.
Okay, they're blocking the water from getting into the pit area in front of them.
Oh.
Water is spewing. That one crew, if I'm not mistaken, Dave, that one crew member stood there to keep the fluids from spraying into the pit stall ahead of theirs.
And that's JP Bergeron's pit stall just ahead. You see his crew members out to check the surface of their pit stall in case the E-Racer number 1 wants to come in. He doesn't want to have to slide through his pit stall when he makes his stop.
You also don't want to stand and get sprayed with scalding hot radiator juice. So a few yellows to start this one off. We're 20 laps into the 50-lap NAPA 150. The racing has been great when we've been under green, lots of action. Simon Charbonneau is out of that number 88.
Helmet comes off. There goes the Hans device, and tough break for the part-time racer here in the NASCAR Canada Series, but we continue under caution with a pretty extensive cleanup underway here at Calabogie Motorsports Park. And welcome back to Calabogie Motorsports Park. We continue under a full course caution, and one of the reasons is the 88 of Simon Charbonneau. The driver is out and standing by with our Clinton Jeffrey.
Thanks a lot, Dave. Simone, what's the situation here?
The car number 9 and 48, I don't know what's happened, but it touched together in front of me, and I cannot see anything in front, a huge smoke, and as soon as I just hit the number 9 was parked on the track. that's very unfortunate because the car number 88, Transgestion Complex Autobus, was very fast today. We missed the qualification yesterday, and that's a bad thing because we had a car to be in front today, so that's unfortunate.
Tough break. Glad to see you're okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Simon Charbonneau, guys, out of the 88 car. They're still doing some work down here on pit road, but they've told him he's done.
And Dave, the unfortunate thing is, you know, drivers often say that.
Yeah.
You know, I was biding my time. He wasn't biding his time. He was charging and passing a lot of race cars. So, unfortunate for his day to end that way. And
Yeah, when drivers say, we had the car to win, I think Simon Charbonneau actually had a car to compete at the front of the field. If not win, definitely towards the top 5 in the 88. Just the problem is track position starting as far back as he did. And then you run the risk of getting caught up in other people's problems, and it seems that's what happened here.
well said, as safety crews out there directing cars to stay well clear of the oil dry and the track work that's going on. And the driver's doing a nice job slowing down, giving them lots of room to do their job. They all want a clean surface to race on too.
Interesting to see the 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron and how this caution period will affect that car. And the McCreary tires getting an opportunity to cool off a little bit. Maybe they had warmed up. It really doesn't take much. You slide the car just a little bit, you overheat the tires, and that will sort of stick with you for several laps. But the GM Paillet number 96, so Marc-Antoine Cameron, has fallen back just a little bit. And again, uncharacteristic of that driver.
Yeah, and it's strange that it seems to be isolated to just a couple of corners, right? It's the entry to turn 10, 11, and 12 where he seems to be susceptible, and then into 13. So I'm looking, this track is mostly right-hand turns. So the fact that, why would he have trouble in that particular one?
It just doesn't seem, maybe it's an issue with braking. That's one of the braking zones. Would be catching him out.
Could it be a gearing issue? You know, when we go to CTMP, we go to Trois Rivières, those are tracks we've been to every year since 2007 when the series began. This is our second trip here, but I would think with the testing they've had, they would have that thing dialed in exactly the way they wanted it. But there's still, I'm sure, spots where some drivers are in a different gear than others.
Yeah, it's not very often a team shows up and misses the bat, especially a team like that, the 96. And speaking of them, Clinton Jeffrey is standing by in that stall.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. Down here in the 96, they have that situation with a bit of a tire rub, but that's not the problem. They're having trouble getting the power down, so no forward drive here on the 96 at Cameron. They don't feel the tire rub's an issue, but just forward bite is the big issue here today.
And that was the traditional issue here at Calabogie. Even though we've only been here once, they resurfaced this racetrack. The cars were 3 seconds faster than last year because there was a lot of bite out there. So to hear Cameron saying that he's lacking forward bite.
And now the problem is you don't necessarily have a scheduled pit stop. At Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, the longer races, you have a green flag, potentially pit stop. You have an opportunity to come in and work on the car. Here, you can do it. You will give up a tremendous amount of track position.
Part of their secret sauce for the 96 team is they're greedy. They want to win. They want to win practice. They want to win qualifying. They want to win the race. What do you do if you don't think you have the winning car? You're going to restart behind the 20th place car if you come into the pits. You're going to sacrifice a lot. And it looks like we're going to go red. And here's why we're doing it, race fans. There's a lot of cleanup to do on the track. We want to give you 50 laps of action. So rather than watch the cars roll around under yellow flag situations, they're going to display the red flag, let the track crews go to work. And when we go back to yellow, you're going to get more racing for your investment, whether you invested in tickets to be here at the track or whether you invested your time this afternoon to join us on a beautiful
Really is a gorgeous day. Absolutely.
Is this the Ottawa Valley?
Picture perfect day in the Ottawa Valley. You're right. And a few postcard shots.
This is Chamber of Commerce weather, right?
For sure.
Why do you look at me like I've got 3 heads?
I'm not sure what the Chamber of Commerce has to do with it.
When it's a beautiful day, the Chamber of Commerce goes out and they take pictures of their beautiful town so they can put it in their brochures. For the person, Dave, you are 10 times smarter than I am.
Well, I'm even smarter now. Thank you very much.
You've never heard that expression?
I've never heard
This
it.
is Chamber of Commerce weather.
It's a brand new one.
Have you ever seen a fast food commercial on a cloudy day where it's just kind of gross out, but they
No.
still want to get a burger?
Yeah, you're
No,
right.
they show the sunny day. Everyone's smiling and happy.
It's a day to learn for sure as we're under a red flag here in the NAPA 150. Well, we'll take an opportunity to step away while we have the opportunity to do so, and you're not going to miss any action. So we'll take a quick break. You're watching the NASCAR Canada Series here at Calabogie Motorsports Park. Still under a red flag on a beautiful day here in the NAPA 150 at Calabogie Motorsports Park. We're about an hour outside of the nation's capital in Ottawa, Ontario, in Calabogie. And a picturesque 2.8-kilometer, 13-turn stadium circuit, a part of a larger complex here at Calabogie Motorsports Park. But an extensive cleanup happening right now. The safety team getting their workouts as a lot of oil dry going down on this track as it looks as though 2 cars were leaking fluid, both of them taking different lines on the racetrack. So that means 2 streams of fluid in different spots. So that's the reason why we're under a red flag.
Crews are working diligently. Thankfully, it's not a scorching hot day today. It's a nice day. There's a breeze out there. Of course, the breeze only really affects the crews and the fans. Inside those cars, there was not much breeze to speak of, but we've raced in much, much hotter conditions.
We'll take a look back through the field. We've been talking about several drivers over the course of this race and some of the storylines that have presented themselves. Last year's winner, Connor Bell, and where he might be running. He's in 6th position. He started in 9th, so he's up 3. That said, it is steady progression, and it's tougher to pass when you get up in the mix of very good, quick drivers at the front of the field. So every pass is a little bit harder to make from here on out. But Connor Bell still just outside the top 5 right now in that Diamond Storage number 3. Gary Clute started in 18th position. He's up to 7th.
Yeah, big run for Gary Clute, and we've seen him capitalize on moves being made by other drivers and make sure he's Johnny on the spot to follow through in the openings when the openings are made out there. But this field of drivers, the top 6 or 7 cars are absolutely elite. Those cars are working great. The drivers are top notch. But you get from 7th all the way back to about 20th, Dave, and there's still good cars and good drivers.
Sam Fellows in the number 87 is currently in 11th position. You think, okay, that's not bad. He's knocking on the door of the top 10. If you look through the starting order, it was 25th position he rolled off. So, yeah, Sam Fellows has been a mover here today in the 87. And again, he gets the opportunity in this caution period. Bunches the field. Once we do go back to caution, it'll bunch the field, give him an opportunity to pick up even more spots.
And you have to resist the urge to overdrive the car, to use up more than you can get these tires hot. They're going to get hot. You can get the brakes hot. That's going to happen. But if you overheat them, it's tough to undo. Almost impossible. Once you've passed the point where they've overheated, you're really kind of stuck with what you're left with.
They get so greasy, and it's so difficult to control. But you know what? All of the drivers who have really been putting in some pretty quick laps, you look at Alex Tagliani, who was the fastest on track at one point. Kevin Lacroix has turned a lap that's a little bit quicker. A 1:11.479 is their best time. And we talked about the movers and shakers and some of the drivers of note today. Connor Bell in the top 10 in the 3 car, and Clinton Jeffrey is standing by with his car owner and crew chief.
Well, Jason, you know you've got a couple cars in the grid here today. It's been a long race, but we haven't seemed to get much done. What are your teams telling you, and what are you feeling from your drivers so far?
Yeah, we got to get a few more green flag laps here and put on a little show for these fans, but the race seems good. Cars are fast, so we're looking pretty good with Connor Bell in the 3 car up there, and just set fast time, I think, of the race here a few laps ago, so he's ready to go. And a little pit stop with Dexter, threw some left side tires on him, helped him out a little bit. He's never been here before, so just trying to get a little grip in the car for him, but I think he'll be okay. So having a lot of fun. Great place here at Calabogie, and always NASCAR racing is always a good time, so having fun.
Let's talk about Connor Bell. You come in as the defending race winner. How's that change your game plan to come into the weekend?
It's always a little more pressure, but you can walk in the gate with your chest held high, you know. So it's we got a good car for him, and he loves his place. It's home track for him. He knows it off the, better than anything else. So, but you got Lacroix is good, and Dumoulin and the boys up front, 96. All the regular boys that are real good road racers. It's fun to watch.
All right, there you have it from Jason Hathaway. We'll let him get back up on the box, guys. His driver, Connor Bell, just set one of the best laps of the race so far, and they're feeling good.
He did. One of the drivers down into the 111s. And keep in mind, when they were testing on Friday, they had a lot of clean air and open track in front of them. The quickest time that was put in was by Alex Gannett, and that was 1:09. And he was half a second quicker than anybody else. But now it looks like when you're in the field and you're mixed in with dirty air and things like that, you can't quite keep up that pace that was laid down on Friday.
And there's times in certain practice sessions where drivers are going to lay down hero laps. Laps that you really can't sustain in race conditions, because in race conditions, you've got to make sure you've got a car that'll go 50 laps. In practice conditions, sometimes you're doing qualifying runs, sometimes you're doing super short stints to see what you can achieve, but you wouldn't be able to do that for 50 laps.
You know what's really interesting that I was just looking through with the live timing and scoring that we have at our hands here up in the booth, but normally the conversation around quick laps and qualifying and tires especially is that the tires lose their goodie in 3, 4, 5 laps. They just drop off. They're not quite as competitive as they are when they're brand spanking new. That makes sense. They get heat in them, they wear out, whatever. If you look at the drivers, all of the drivers within the top 10 all have set their fast times lap 14 or up to lap 19 even. So, yeah, Connor Bell set his on lap 17. LP Dumoulin, Andrew Ranger, Cameron, Lacroix, all on lap 19. We've only completed 22.
That's interesting.
It's really interesting, I find. The new McCreary tire that the teams are running this year seems to be holding up very well. Clinton Jeffries still down pit road. He's doing a lot of work for us here today. Clinton, what do you have for us?
You didn't think you're going to hear from me, and here we are talking a lot. Ron Easton here. You know, what's Daryl Timmers telling you about his day so far?
I say the car's pretty good. He's just trying to get used to the feel of it because we had very lack of practice yesterday. And he says he's just making a few little mistakes. He's going to clean that up and try to drive forward.
How are you dealing with that when you have a driver that has lack of practice and you just, you know, you're not getting the seat time and the track time you need? How do you get prepared for a weekend like this?
I just do what I know works with previous drivers and stuff and go on his experience at the track he's before and put the two together and hope for the best.
Right on, Ron. Thanks for your time.
All right, thank you.
Ron Easton, guys, longtime crew chief and crew member here in this series. They know what to do.
Yeah, for sure. And Daryl Timmers did get a few laps yesterday in sort of that wet, dry condition, so not ideal, but at least he got a chance to sort of shake off his own rust. He's only been in the car once before in 2026, and that was at the first road race at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park.
And for him to be in the top 10 with that car is a really great accomplishment so far. As we can see the blower out on the racetrack blowing that oil dry off of the racing surface. And they won't need to get it perfect, but you want to get as much as you can off before you go back to yellow flag conditions. That stuff will get clogged up in the radiators of these cars.
Remember in the old days, before you had blowers, this blower being hauled behind a Mazda minivan, it looks like, but what it's doing is taking off most of that speedy dry. What we used to do is just run the cars through it, let the exhaust, let the tires pick it all up, and let the cars just dust it off. So it is kind of nice that we don't have to do that anymore. Clinton Jeffrey standing by.
Thanks, guys. I'm down here with John Fletcher. John, you know, you guys had to start 18th. You're up to 7th now. What's Gary saying about the run so far?
Yeah, he's just managing rear tire wear right now. The car's really good. We got good speed in it. He's pretty confident. We just got to get some green laps.
Yeah, how are these yellows affecting your day? You don't want to get yellowed out, right?
Yeah, just, you know, a good rhythm is better, but he'll be fine. He's saving. We got something for the end here.
All right, they're here from John Fletcher, guys, one of the veterans here. They won the CTMP race, and John is cool as a cucumber up here with the whole crew, just chilling out, and even Brother Scott here watching TV.
It looks like the cleanup nearly completed as the blower is now moving on to pit lane and getting the rest of that speedy dry brushed off.
To go back to your point about blowing off the oil dry, it blows all of the oil dry that really didn't do anything.
Yeah.
The oil dry that stays is what's starting to soak up the fluid that's on the racetrack. So it blows off the excess, let the drivers run and then you can go racing. You don't want to leave loose oil dry on the track because it is equally as slippery as the oil that it was trying to soak up.
It's like a little, well, it's kitty litter essentially. And if you've seen the consistency of kitty litter, you know how that would affect slick tires. Not a very good combination. As the field's moving once again, it's a yellow flag condition. The red flag has been pulled in and the cars fire on the front straightaway and start moving once again. And now the work begins to try and build that heat back up in those McCreary tires.
I think they're pretty much where they want them to be. You know, they'll cool somewhat, but they're not going to cool off to where they were before they started the race. I think they're still activated. Sounds like everyone's been able to pull away from the front stretch, so that's a good sign. Whenever you stop these cars, you never know when they go to take off again, if you're going to have power.
And again, we're nearing the halfway point of the NAPA 150.
There is one awaiting a push. I believe it's Kavanaugh's number 24. No, yeah, 24 is Kavanaugh. I'm arguing with myself.
You might be right. Yeah, Kavanaugh on the 24 was on the lead lap, so he's dropped to the tail of the lead lap as everybody else has moved through, but shouldn't be penalized for his inability to restart.
No, but they have to get the push truck to him before the field comes around.
Frustrating for the crew as you're standing there on pit lane and you're watching your car sitting stopped, and you're like, we could push it. Here comes the push truck. So it looks like they will beat the field, and he'll be able to refire.
I didn't think that truck that was on its way had a push bar on the front of it. So
I don't know if it does. Does it really matter?
It'll do the same thing.
Away he goes and fires off to Jeff Kavanaugh. And now he'll have to hurry his way back up to his starting position.
And they're telling him to go up behind the 14, which is the 18th position.
After the 14 spent some time in the tire wall earlier, so that's a good rebound for him.
Yeah, we didn't
17.
think he really suffered damage in that excursion.
So he's benefited from several cautions as well. It closes the gap and gives him some track position. So nice to see Jeff Johnson making a bit of a rebound after an earlier off-track incident.
One to go at the line this time. So the drivers come by our position. So that means once they get to the choose, which is most of the way around the racetrack, down past turn number 9, I believe.
And you'll usually see the driver of the pace car put his hand out the window, indicating the choose rule is in effect. And you need to start making your choice and make your move before you get to that design, that logo on the racetrack.
Don't touch the box.
Yes.
You can touch the arrow, but you cannot touch the box inside of the choose arrow. So if you're smart, you don't touch any of it. You don't come near it.
Just make your decision now, early enough.
Decisive, make it obvious, over-exaggerate the direction you're going.
So, what happens here? Who sticks to the inside in turn number 1? We've seen some drivers make it work. Drivers like Connor Bell, like Gary Clute, they roll the dice, get up to the outside, and manage to make it stick in turn number 1 and hang on through turn number 2 as well. So it seems to be a possibility now as these tires wear out just a little bit more. The inside not quite as dominant as it once was.
Passes are hard to come by, so it's going to be harder for Connor Bell and Gary Clute to pick up a number of lanes, a number of rows rather, on these restarts, but maybe for a driver a little further back, a Sam Fellows.
Dominic Scrivo back out on track, which is kind of amazing given the damage on that.
It's cosmetic, it's just the pretty.
Yeah, there's a lot of pretty knocked out of that one. It's almost ugly at this point, but it's on track, and he'll collect his owner's points.
I remember someone saying when you hit those tire walls, it sometimes doesn't really bend up the frame. It just rips the fiberglass to shreds.
You said that.
That was me.
Just a little while ago. So who goes to the outside? Nobody really out of place at this point. Everybody taking... Well, Malcolm Strawn went to the inside, and Simon Zion-Vienne followed him through in the 38.
Looks like Gary Clute's going to restart in the 7th spot.
Jeff Lapsevich is going to pick up about 3 positions, moving to the outside in the 0. But again, this is the latter half of the top 20.
Wonder how much fun Lapsevich is having behind the wheel, because I'll tell you, he really enjoys what he gets to do for his boys, for Trayton. Caden, he doesn't work with a whole lot anymore, but once in a while, if he's got a super late model opportunity, he will. Green is out as we reach the midway point. Alex Tagliani fires quickly, leaving Kevin Lacroix to battle with Marc-Antoine Cameron.
Cameron actually has his hands full with the 27 of Andrew Ranger. But all positions stay the same at the front of the field. Little bit of flirting with different grooves amongst the top 5. But again, we stay single file until we get about 10th on back. Now there appears to be a change for position.
Connor Bell working the outside. That door closes as he battles with Andrew Ranger. Alex Canet right behind him. Gary Clute right behind. He's in a side-by-side battle.
That's what we say about restarts. It's a good opportunity to gain positions, also a good opportunity to lose them. And Connor Bell tried to make that move on Andrew Ranger, but it cost the spot.
No, it's oil dry. Oil.
Oh,
Tagliani.
Tagliani's off. In through the oil dry was the 80, and he skidded off into the grass. Still maintains the lead.
Holy moly. And I was just about to say, everything about racing, Dave, is risk versus reward. You can drive into corners as hard as you want, but the risk is you're not going to make it through the turn. So everything is a calculated gamble.
Boy, that was a gamble. And just driving on that speedy drive for Alex Tagliani, it did not stick the way he needed it to, but his saving grace was the rest of the field did the exact same thing. We'll get another chance to have a look.
This is pucker factor 10 coming up for Alex Tagliani.
What car control?
Amazing.
That was a crash that just didn't finish.
To keep that car pointed in the direction it was supposed to be and not lose a spot was unbelievable. But now Alex Guinnett is right there in that 39. We talked earlier on, he's a driver on a mission. His luck has been horrible, and this is great to see him battling up there in the top 5.
Andrew Ranger once again pressuring the 96. So that duel has picked up where it left off as the 96 gets crossways in the speedy drive. Off into the grass goes Marc-Antoine Cameron, 1 position, now 2 as Alex Guinnett goes around as well.
And Connor Bell, I don't know that he didn't know what to do, but he could have given Cameron a punt there and really gave him an opportunity to control his car and get back in line. Connor Bell could have made life miserable there for Cameron.
Yeah, gentlemen, thing to do for the driver of the 3. And again, we're going to have another chance to get a look at this. Watch the red roof, the 96 of Cameron.
Almost a carbon copy.
Yeah, you're right. It was exactly what the 80 did, but with Tagliani, everybody else almost slid off with this group, and Dexter Stacy off the track into the grass in the number 8.
It looks like he might have found a runoff spot there.
That's heading towards turn 9, I believe.
Full course.
We're being told is where the 8 went off. And so full course caution comes out just as Gary Clute was taking a look on the 3 car of Connor Bell. What a different dynamic we have here in this NAPA 150 as we go under caution once again.
Now, if you're the race crews, are you talking to your pit official? Say maybe some more oil dry might be required up there in turns 8 and 9.
Or maybe there was still too much on the ground. That could have been the issue as well. Either way, under caution as the NAPA pace car gathers up the field. We're going to take a quick break. You're watching the NAPA 150 at Calabogie Motorsports Park. And welcome back to the NAPA 150 at Calabogie Motorsports Park. I'm Dave Bradley. Joined with me in the booth is Adam Ross, and Clinton Jeffrey has been adding up his steps along pit lane. He's been a busy man. Now he's got some information on the reason for this full course caution.
Yeah, guys, we're here in the 8 of Dexter Stacy with a blown transmission, so that's the problem down here. That's what we got so far. No shifting going on for the 8 anymore today.
So you talked about it, Adam, a little bit, and I know the 96 is having some trouble with forward bite, but when you get a new surface, often you get extra bite. That puts extra strain on the drive line, and we saw problems with the 54 of Dave Corsol and now the 8 of Dexter Stacy.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong too, Dave. When you have new pavement and a bright sunny day, that can bring the oil out of the asphalt mixture. So does it make it tackier or does it make it slicker as you get a bright sunny day?
I don't know. That's a good question, but your logic is correct. That's normally the case. However, months ago, we talk about a brand new surface, but it was laid down months ago, and it did have the opportunity to cure, which means it did have several weather cycles of hot and cold to go through it. And, you know, it's not a brand spanking new surface. It's just a lot newer than it was before. No risk of it coming up as if you were racing on just freshly laid asphalt. It wouldn't be very hard.
Pit road is open this time by. If there's any takers, we will see if anyone elects to come down. We're into the second half of this one, so I don't really expect anyone in the top 10 to dive down pit road. Maybe if you're deep in the field, you need an adjustment, you want to put some rubber on.
Here's one driver that was going in the wrong direction, and it's the 47 of LP Dumoulin in the WeatherTech Dodge. Now, whether he got caught out by that speedy dry as well, I didn't see him go off track at all, but he's down in 8th position. The last time we crossed the stripe, he'll move up ahead. Update that, I believe, because I think Gary Clute passed. Oh no, Gary Clute was making a move on the 3 of Connor Bell. But LP Dumoulin came into this one 3rd in points, and he's had some good runs on the road courses this year, finishing 2nd at CTMP. He's finished on the podium at other races as well. As you can see, a little bit of tape dangling from the WeatherTech number 47, but car seems to be in one piece, just maybe not exactly what he needs, or maybe he's saving it for the end.
Anything is possible, and these tires have proven to be much different than the tires we've run on in the past. Some of them just don't seem to fire off as well as others. They can be unpredictable for these drivers, so it's possible LP's biding his time to keep the rubber as good as he can underneath him.
The big winner in the points chase, if the race were to end right now, would be the 74 of Kevin Lacroix. He'd pick up a handful of points on the 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron. He's currently 3 spots higher than Cameron. Cameron's down in 5th.
Well, how would the big winner not be the 80 car?
Well, Tagliani would be for sure, but owner's points rather than driver's points, if you're looking at either championship, right? Definitely, as far as owner's points go, the 80 would love to take that win and take those points that come with it. But so, you look at, we talk about the dominance of the 90 so far this year. 4 race wins coming on 2 tracks. So they both happen in back-to-back races where you ran twin races in one day at Autodrome Chaudière and Autodrome Montmagny, 2 ovals. But still, 4 wins are 4 wins. He's had 6 top 10s in 6 races so far in 2026. He just really hasn't had a bad day.
That's the key. He's had no bad day. He's had no falter. And that's what they seem to do the last couple of seasons, is they just wear you down with constant success.
Yeah. Including here at Calabogie a year ago. He finished 4th, but he did lead the most laps in that race at 23. Fell back in the last little bit. There was a bit of a melee towards the end of that race between Alex Cadet and Connor Bell, and Marc-Antoine Cameron sort of caught in the middle of that as well, but did have an opportunity to mark a win here, too, at Calabogie Motorsports Park last year. Ended up coming home in 4th spot. As the 8 of Dexter Stacey now loaded up onto the flatbed and being hauled back to the paddock area as the field continues under caution.
Should be just about done. As you said, the 8 car being brought back to the paddock area. Once that happens, we can give the 1 to go. It's Tagliani, Kevin Lacroix, both scrubbing their tires. The whole row of cars down the front straightaway scrubbing their tires. Keep the debris out of them. Of course, you're just after where you've gone through all that oil dry.
Yeah, you may want to make sure you got it cleaned up before you go back to green. A driver we haven't talked a lot about today as a potential favorite, and it really, he should be considered a potential favorite every time the NASCAR Canada Series hits a road or street circuit. And that's the 27 of Andrew Ranger, currently sitting in 3rd spot. He's completed, he's taken the green at more than 200 races, and when you look back at his career, more than 3/4 of those starts have ended with top 10 finishes for the driver of the 27.
His talent behind the wheel is undeniable. His raw driving talent is impressive, but his driving style has changed so much over the years because he was an absolute warrior. He would get out there and wear everybody out. I mean, I think if we had a yellow flag this long, he'd start to wear the pace car out when he first came out. But now he's methodical. He'll settle out there. He'll run in that top 3, and as the race wears down, he'll see if he's got something to contend with.
Looks like he does have a pretty good car here, as he's been able to contend as far as lap times are concerned, with the 80 and the 74 just ahead of him. Now that he's managed to get around the 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron, we'll see what this restart will bring. Not quite as quick as Kevin Lacroix, who's put a best time in of 1:11.479, but it's about 3/10 off that, so definitely within the wheelhouse.
Flagman Marc Geray with one finger indicating to drivers next time by, we're going to go green. So it will be time to choose. Alex Tagliani most likely will take the inside of the front row to have that inside line through turn 1 into turn 2. But we've seen the outside of the front row able to contend on some of these restarts.
I was just watching to see if Alex Tagliani or any of the other drivers really scrubbed through turns 11, 10, and 12, or 10, 11, and 12. That's where that speedy dry has been laid down, and that's where Tagliani went off, where Cameron went off. And for Tagliani, didn't lose any positions, but definitely very slippery conditions. And you know what? None of them scrubbed their tires through there, which is interesting because you think they would want to test to see if it was still slippery.
They're going to be the first cars driving through it under racing conditions. So nobody at the back of the pack is going to help you out if the people at the front of the pack aren't going to help themselves.
It's a good look at Timmers in the Iraq.ca number 85. Sitting in the 10th position.
Great run for Daryl Timmers and that Larry Jackson owned equipment. Larry Jackson's quickly becoming one of the mega teams in the series with multiple cars and most.
And just an all-around good guy, Larry Jackson. Always smiling in the pits.
Among the best. We're just getting reports of possible debris in turn number 1.
So just as we are coming up on the 1 to go, the NASCAR officials are taking a good that off this restart. Well, we're listening to NASCAR's conversation to see exactly what that debris could potentially be. And again, they have spotters all over the track, and they have safety crews and the pace car driver, they are all radio connected, so they're all inspecting the racing surface at every time. And we're getting a look at it right now from our cameras, and just rubber marbles.
NASCAR officials are saying it's a piece of paper, and it's actually in the entrance of turn 1, probably in the braking zone. It's not even really in the corner. It's in the straight line braking zone going into the turn. They think it's paper, not sheet metal, so they're going green.
All right, that's good news. And we watch the choose take place. And so far, so good. No one rolling the dice for any improvement of position or maintaining the inside lane, as the NAPA Chevrolet Corvette pace car pulls down pit lane. So it will be Alex Tagliani, and this time he'll have Kevin Lacroix to deal with as they make their way into the Pinty's restart zone onto the front straightaway. And you'll start to hear the RPMs pick up as the green flag waves once again. And we're back underway.
Good start for Alex Tagliani on the inside. Kevin Lacroix able to settle into the second spot. Alex Gannett, though, battling with Andrew Ranger for third.
Seems like they're able to battle through turn number 1, but Gannett, I don't know if he made contact with the 27 of Andrew Ranger. They both wiggled a little bit into turn number 3.
Connor Bell trying to work the outside groove. Doesn't seem to be having a lot of success in moving forward. Right behind him is Gary Clute in the 71.
DJ Kennington in the 47 of LP Dumoulin battling side by side for a little bit. That's a battle for 8th spot. And now LP Dumoulin will push back out in 14 of Kennington.
Alex Tagliani opens up a few car lengths over Kevin Lacroix as they work down into turn 10.
Ooh, Sam Fellows made a misstep in turn 11, and that cost him a little bit. He opened up the door. Simon Thionvien was unable to fill it, so Sam Fellows will hold on to 11th spot as Gary Clute comes on the outside in turn number 1.
Connor Bell got squirrely coming off the final turn 13. That allowed Gary Clute to make. He's still working on completing that pass, and Connor Bell looks like he's going to do so.
They fall in single file. You heard his crew chief, John Fletcher Jr., talk about that 71 car and the driver behind the wheel just saving it. We have a good car. We know it. We just need the track position, and he's been able to show it, picking off position after position in the number 71.
It's time to go. If you're Gary Clute, you've got to close in on those front runners. You can't give them any gap out there.
Boy, Tagliani is really setting down a quick pace right now. Kevin Lacroix is struggling to keep up as he has to look in his mirror and watch the 27 of Andrew Ranger go from side to side.
Sam Fellows on the back end of DJ Kennington's number 17. He's looking to make a move there. Sam Fellows has come a long way through this field, having a great day in that AER, number 87.
Now the drivers get a chance to settle into a rhythm. A couple of laps completed after this most recent caution flag. The field separates a little bit, and now you get to find and hit your marks.
35 laps complete of the 50 laps scheduled here in the NAPA 150.
Tagliani just turned the fastest lap of the race. And again, talk about the tires dropping off. There is no drop off. All the top 3 drivers just set their fastest times.
Alex Gannett all but pushing Andrew Ranger around the racetrack. The 39 of Gannett looking for racing room to make a move on the GM Paillet number 27 of Ranger.
Quick touch of the grass as they move through some of the sweeping turns, and now down into turn number 10. Not an opportunity to outbrake, but the 39 does close up right to the back of the 27 of Andrew Ranger. Watch this drive off in turn number 13. He can't quite get it. The DLGL Chevrolet got a little bit crooked on his drive off, so that kills him for turn number 1.
He's driving it hard as they go through turn number 1. Alex Canet looking to break into the top 3, get into a podium position.
Kevin Lacroix just turned his fastest lap of the race, and the fastest lap period, a 1:11.0 for Kevin Lacroix, as he lights the lamp and closes the gap on your race leader, Alex Tagliani.
The time is now for these race car drivers as Kevin Lacroix closing the gap on Tagliani in the 8. He can look in his rearview mirror and see they're not getting away very far on the battle for 3rd place, so this is going to be a tight one, probably right down to the end.
Cameron has found some speed as well. He's not dropping back quite as bad as he was earlier on in the middle part of this race. Now towards the end, he's really picked up his pace, but there's going to be a race for the lead here in just a little bit. We'll take a quick break. You're watching the NAPA 150. Laps to go now in the NAPA 150 here at Calabogie Motorsports Park, and we have had a change on the podium, and it's the 39 of Alex Canet who's managed to get around the 27 of Andrew Ranger, but really that was just a matter of time.
Canet's had a great car all weekend long, but now the question is, does he have time to catch the race leaders as Matthew Kingsbury goes around and he is parked driver's side exposed to the oncoming traffic?
And he does grab a gear, gets that car going. We avoid a caution, which is great news as the Jura King Chevrolet gets moving once again. So Matthew Kingsbury will lose a ton of track position, but will stay green.
10 laps to go this time, and they cross the stripe. 40 laps in, 10 laps remain in this NAPA 150.
Tagliani and Alex Canet have just turned their fastest laps of the race. As a matter of fact, Tagliani has gone quicker on that last lap than anybody else in this entire race. On lap 39, he set his quick time of the day.
So this is clearly part of a plan. You know, clearly it is time to take off the reins, go as fast as you can. We don't know if this is going to work. This could overheat the tires. It could overwork those McCreary's. But it's what these teams have decided is their best opportunity to try to go out and steal this win.
10 laps to go here in the Napa 150, and big problems for the E-Racer #1 of J.P. Bergeron. A big cloud of smoke from that Ford Mustang. He's found pit lane, but did he leave fluid down on the racetrack? That's the big question.
Well, we're going to find out fairly quickly, I think.
It seemed to go wrong just before the entrance to pit lane. And I think he got up out of the groove. So I don't think there's going to be a caution. There is no full course caution at this point as the one car finds his pit stall.
It didn't look like any of the back markers struggled in that neighborhood of the racetrack. So we will see as the leaders come through if they have any trouble navigating this section.
Yeah, it doesn't look too bad at all as Tagliani, Lacroix, both two drivers that follow their regular racing line, and doesn't appear to be any visual fluid down on the racetrack. But the last time they went through the stripe, it was 7/10 of a second between Lacroix and Tagliani. So we'll take another look at pass for third as Gannett, textbook, really.
Yeah, beautiful move made on Andrew Ranger there to take over that spot, and Alex Gannett just got into the 110s himself. So fastest lap that time by was Alex Gannett.
But he's still 1.6 seconds back of your race leader as JP Bergeron climbs from the number one. His day is done a little bit early. And
we got a battle at the front.
Yeah, we sure do. I was looking at the time at the stripe, and it was 0.6 of a second, so it closed by 2/100ths. It really wasn't a lot. But now it's become very tight as Lacroix has found that extra gear.
We've also got a little bit of slower traffic coming as we look out past the windshield of Tagliani.
Tagliani started moving around too as Lacroix was able to hit the curb in turn number 10. And yeah, into the slower traffic, it's Benoit Couture, and that's going to be a problem for the 74 of Kevin Lacroix. He caught it at the wrong time. Couture was doing all he could to stay out of the leader's way.
Couture did a great job getting out of the way, but look at Alex Gannett closing that gap.
Yeah, by half a second, the 39 close. So that's what it cost the 74 of Kevin Lacroix. He was right on the back bumper of Alex Tagliani. So a three-car breakaway from the rest of the field. Marc-Antoine Cameron has caught Andrew Ranger, and they do battle as Ranger tries to hold on to fourth position. Gary Clute is up to 6th, chasing the GM Paillet number 96 of Cameron. Just ahead of the 3 of Connor Bell.
Small packs of cars forming out there, but the one we want to focus on is this top 3. Tagliani in the 80, the 74 of Lacroix, the 39 of Gannett. Gannett looks to be peaking right when he wants to be out there.
Tagliani is so hungry for a race win. He just wants to stand on the top step of the podium. He had a frustrating weekend behind the wheel of his Radical in a couple races earlier this weekend, but he's put together a very solid run in this Donald Teach-owned number 80.
It's got to feel great no matter what for Alex Tagliani to have the speed to run at the front of the pack, be the best car on the racetrack.
It's funny, I talked to Don Thompson Jr., the crew chief for Alex Tagliani yesterday in the wet weather. I said, are you going to go out and turn some laps? And he's like, no, do you know how long it takes to clean these things?
He's not wrong.
He didn't need to.
Lacroix looks like he's plateaued just a little bit. He's not able to close in on Tagliani. He is working it, though. Alex Gannett running a tighter line through some of these corners than the 2 race leaders. He's able to get his car right down on the bottom of the racetrack.
So the last time they crossed the stripe, it was 0.6 of a second, the difference. But yeah, Gannett is coming. So Lacroix is going to go from the aggressor to the defender in short order here because he's going to have his mirror filled with the 39 very shortly. 0.5 of a second. Now Gannett goes the quickest of anybody in the DLGL number 39. This race is far from over.
Far from over, and there's 6 laps to go. It'll be 5 next time when they cross the stripe. So Alex Gannett has time, but he's got to get up there and start mixing it up with these leaders. Connor Bell has been racy, trying to make moves also. Has not been able to do it just yet.
Battle for second, and maybe you want to count the leader in there too. This is where Kevin Lacroix seems to be so much better this part of the racetrack is where he seems to close up on the 80 of Alex Tagliani.
But then just past here, Tagliani opens a little bit of a gap on Lacroix, so it's like watching a rubber band a little bit. It stretches, then it closes in, it stretches, then it closes.
Tagliani's been very good through this section of corners, 10, 11, and 12, and then the switchback, turn number 13 onto the front straightaway.
See, and I think this is where Gannett shines.
Yeah.
So fast through that section as we see him on the back end of Lacroix. 5 laps to go in this NAPA 150.
Tagliani, his quickest lap of the day, and Kevin Lacroix, his quickest lap of the day. So they are going at it, hammer and tong.
Unbelievable. Where are they finding this speed?
Lap 45. You should be carrying them out as souvenirs leaving Calabogie Motorsports Park. But they're still turning very fast laps at the front of the field. Faster than anybody else.
Oh, Kevin Lacroix locks up the front brakes going into the corner. Alex Gannett right on his tail. Ground right now to Tagliani.
Tagliani caught the grass just a little bit. He did it again there, kicking up a little bit of dust that the 74 has to contend with. You can see the flame shooting from the tailpipe of Alex Tagliani as he works the throttle so carefully.
Gannett closing in on Lacroix. Lacroix was defending a little bit in corner entry there, and Gannett able to close right in on the back bumper of the number 74 as they come up to the start-finish line for 4 laps to go.
That time at the line, 0.6 of a second. It was Kevin Lacroix who was a little bit quicker than Alex Tagliani, but we're talking hundredths of a second. He'll need a lot more than that to catch the driver of the 80. Ooh, they're coming into lap traffic.
Slower traffic is up ahead. Again, a little bit of smoke from the 74. I think that was front tire smoke as he gets on the brakes down into the corner. There's a lot of traffic up ahead for these.
3 previously damaged race cars all ahead of the race leaders, and they'll catch them on this lap. Simon Diovien has lost a tire.
That almost certainly will bring out a full course caution.
No, it's a tire wall, a piece of the tire wall, and Lacroix goes around. A spin out of second place for the driver of the 74. He grabbed a gear and got going. We've avoided a full course caution so far. Tagliani catching that slower traffic. It's Dominic Scrivo just ahead. He'll have Ron Tomlinson there too, and it looks like Jacques Gannett in the 93 as well.
Alex Gannett is a great distance behind as there is 3 laps to go. The gap is 2.4 seconds, but Alex Tagliani has to make quick work of this traffic.
Kevin Lacroix crossed the line in 8th position. He lost 12 seconds with that spin, going from 2nd to 8th, slots in ahead of the 17 of DJ Kennington.
Gannett starting to work through the slower traffic. Tagliani has got through 2. Gannett's got through 2.
Gannett can see him, but time's not on his side. 3 laps to go, under 3 laps now as Ron Tomlinson pulls up and out of the groove and lets the leaders go through. At least he lets Tagliani in the Olamel number 80 pass through. Will he show the same courtesy to the 39 of Alex Gannett?
It almost doesn't matter. There's just so much gap now between first and second after whatever the situation was with Kevin Lacroix. I don't think, without a huge mishap by Alex Tagliani, Alex Gannett is not going to get there.
Looks like Tagliani, as far as lap times are concerned, has backed it down just a little bit. A 1:12.7 as he worked through lap traffic, and a 1:12.0 for Alex Gannett in second spot. Gannett in the DLGL 39 came home a runner-up a year ago here at Calabogie Motorsports Park. He was hoping for so much more.
But what a great drive it's been for Gannett. Barely a mark on that 39 car. He's passed some very good race cars here this afternoon as they work their way around this tricky Calabogie Motorsports Park. They said you couldn't pass on this racetrack, Dave, but we have seen a lot of positions change hands.
A lot of drivers climbing their way up through the field. The 27 of Andrew Ranger, we should mention, is up into the 3rd position as he continues to hold off the 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron.
We scan back through the field. Gary Clute. No, that's LP Dumoulin holding off Connor Bell. Bell trying to close in on that WeatherTech 47 and race for the 6th spot.
Bell has made some contact at some point with another driver. Closed the gap on the back bumper of the WeatherTech Dodge as a white flag is shown. One more lap to go for Alex Tagliani.
It has been an up and down season for Tagliani. They've had speed on the road courses. They've struggled on the ovals, although our last doubleheader at Montmagny, he had a lot of speed behind the wheel of his number 3 that he runs on the oval tracks.
You know what's funny is yesterday I was talking to his car owner, Donald Teage, and I said, is this a new car? And he says, no, it might as well have been. After all the work we had to put into it, after his wreck at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, he was contending for the win in that race, hit the concrete wall, not even a tire wall at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, and that car was in pieces. Today, the pieces have been put together and the story has been written. Alex Tagliani works his way through the final few turns. He'll head towards turn number 13 for the final time and onto the front straightaway.
Comes up around turn 13, the NAPA 150 gonna go to Alex Tagliani.
Gannett will come home second. Andrew Ranger holds on to third as he crosses the stripe Cameron, and Gary Clute will round out the top 5. Connor Bell did get past LP Dumoulin to steal away 6th spot. Kevin Lacroix, in a race of what could have been, finishes in 10th position.
Some good racing coming down to the line deeper in the field. Matthew Kingsbury's trying to come back and make a move on Daryl Timmers, and he's going to put himself around.
Kingsbury goes for a spin in turn number 12. That corner's called Wicked. And for Matthew Kingsbury, it sure has been here today. So the celebration continues on pit lane as Alex Tagliani wins. We're going to take a quick break. You're watching the NAPA 150. And the celebrations have started here at Calabogie Motorsports Park on the front straightaway. Alex Tagliani getting the Gulf Fuels checkered flag. Asked whether or not he wants to do a donut. I'm not sure. Yes, he's going to. Just wanted to get down to turn number 1. And lights up what's left of those McCreary tires. And there's going to be an excited Alex Tagliani, even more so an excited Donald Teach. Look at the smile on the face of Donald Teach, nearly 60 years old and still able to run in podium positions when he's running on the oval. There he goes to join the driver here on the front straightaway. Such a cool scene. So Tagliani here on the front straightaway with his crew standing by. As he'll jump out of that car, he'll have to get unbuckled to get the radio undone as well. And after a frustrating weekend racing in different series, Alex Tagliani had everything go right here in the NASCAR Canada Series. Winner of race number 7, the NAPA 150. And look at the smiles on the faces of those teams. There's Don Thompson Jr., the crew chief of this 80 car. What a job he's done with this program. So we'll get the car to victory lane and we'll come back with the podium presentations. You're watching the NAPA 150. Under a picture-perfect sky here at Calabogie Motorsports Park, it was an exciting race right to the very end here for the NASCAR Canada Series as Alex Tagliani takes the win in the NAPA 150 and now getting his car moved back into victory lane after doing the celebratory donuts and jumping out to get a large photo taken with his crew on the front straightaway. But Adam Ross has made his way down to the podium area. And Clinton Jeffrey has as well. And Clinton will be able to speak with the top 3 as soon as we're able to gather them all in the same spot. Tagliani's got to find the podium first as he missed the digits on the GPS. Now he's going to go through the right opening in the gate to get right into victory lane. And there it is as he wheels it down into victory lane just ahead of the podium. You can see the relief on his face as Tagliani takes a breath. Let's head down to Clinton.
Thanks a lot, Dave. As we get ready to talk to our race winner here, Alex Tagliani. He gets out of the 80 car. Alex, what a drive today. But I want to go back to around the halfway point where you skidded off that track with the lead, maintained the lead. You almost lost it early in this race.
Yeah, well, that was my mistake. I underestimated the speedy dry. So I went in too deep, and I went in the grass, kind of recovered. But I can't thank enough the race team. Obviously, Donnie Thompson, Donald Teach, that allows me to drive his baby. And we had so many bad luck over the last 2 years with a very fast car. And now we can pull it off and celebrate a victory for the team. It's fantastic.
This has got to feel amazing after the tough luck you've had so far. You guys were flat out fast today.
Yeah, definitely. This is a testament to the group. After Mosport on that restart, we were heading to a really good finish, and the car was heavily damaged. And it took pretty much the whole time between Mosport and now to fix the car, and just to give them a win is basically a lot of pressure off my shoulder, you know, for all the work they've done.
Let's speak to your amazing French fans. Maybe give them some of your thoughts.
Oui, ça a été une super course. Évidemment, j'ai fait une petite erreur. J'ai sous-estimé le Speedy Dry. On a récupéré, mais quelle équipe. À Mosport, on était en position de peut-être gagner l'épreuve. Il y a eu beaucoup de travail qui a été fait entre la première course et la deuxième parce que la voiture était très endommagée. Donc, c'est un peu de poids au-dessus de mes épaules qui vient de s'enlever en leur donnant une victoire.
Congrats.
Merci.
Alex Tagliani picks up the win here, guys. Step over here, Alex.
Now we'll get a chance to hear from your runner-up, the driver of the 39.
Alex, how bad did you need a good day today? You know, you've had all kinds of luck with your speed that you've had. You were coming at the end. Would a yellow have helped you win this race?
Yeah, definitely a yellow, but all in all, it was a good day. You know, I can't thank my team enough. Jazz Racing, Eximus Racing, DLGL, GL Électricité Automatisation. You know, the guys pulled the motor last night. We had an engine issue that we picked up. Kind of feeling blessed that we picked it up before the race, so we actually had to switch a motor last night. And we've been through a hectic season. You know, blew a tire when we were running top 3 speed and broke the gas pedal. And then we all know the incident on the start in Montmagny. So been a tough year, so it feels really good to finish on the podium. Not going to lie, though, last year we led a bunch of laps, got hit at the end there. We did get that caution last year, but ended up getting hit and finishing second, and we're here again. So, yeah, Tag did a good job. I feel like we had a bit of speed on him, so, yeah, track position here is really tough to pass. You have to be aggressive, you know. You can't... I mean, I tried the best I could not to get into anyone, but that down here, you know, with the track position, having no qualifying, I definitely had to dig hard. And just wish we had better track position because we definitely had the best race car out here. But still happy, though, we needed a good comeback. So we'll be ready for Three Rivers, and we'll get that win this year.
How about a couple quick words in French?
Yes, donc une grosse fin de semaine ici. On n'a pas eu le début de saison qu'on voulait. On a eu un flat sur une course, on a eu un incident sur un départ, l'autre. Briser une pédale à gaz. Donc, beaucoup de malchance cette année, mais je suis content du résultat aujourd'hui, deuxième. Je ne mentirais pas que finir deuxième, ce n'était pas l'objectif aujourd'hui. On voulait vraiment gagner, mais on va la prendre. Puis, on va être prêts pour Trois-Rivières. Puis, Toronto aussi, là, j'ai vraiment hâte. Puis, Car. Fait que toutes les circuits routiers, on va être là. Puis, on va l'avoir, notre victoire cette année. Là.
Congrats.
Merci.
Alex Canet, guys, comes across in second. Quickly, Andrew Ranger, third run for you today. Let's talk about your day for a second. You know, tough day, but third's a good run.
Yeah, definitely. You know, we start fifth, and to finish third like that, it's really good for our team. Another podium, fantastic. So proud of my guys. You know, they did a great job. I want to thank Jean-Claude Payet, EAS. You know, they support me this year, and it's fantastic for us. A really good podium finish.
Couple quick French words.
Vraiment content. La voiture GM Payet 27 était quand même rapide. On est tombé un petit peu loose vers la fin. On a sauvé un peu les meubles, fini ça en troisième position. Vraiment content de mon équipe. Vraiment une équipe fantastique. Jean-Claude Payet qui me supporte. Et puis de finir ça sur le podium comme ça fait du bien au moral.
Andrew Ranger, guys, third. Second, Alex Canet, and your winner, Alex Tagliani. We are ready to continue the podium ceremonies, guys. That's all from down here. Up to you.
Well, the celebration just beginning in victory lane for the Donald Teege and Tagliani team. And, credit to Donald Teege for keeping them up in the owner's point standings, allowing Tagliani to start on the outside of the front row for this race as well. It just all came together perfectly for the 80 team here today. But the NAPA 150 in the books, race number 7 of the schedule has been completed. A big congratulations to Alex Tagliani. For Adam Ross and Clinton Jeffrey, I'm Dave Bradley. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you next time in Edmonton.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.